The human body is something that requires sustenance to survive. Without it, it cannot function properly as it should. A person falls into the depths of insanity and does anything to get food. This is one extreme, if the body is not accustomed to the lack of food. But what if the person in question is so used to the lack of food and water that for them it is normal to eat one meal a day?
Hunger in Pakistan, because of its unique demographics, right, is a complex issue. And the reasons are manifold, but two reasons that I would like to point out is number one, being a developing country, Pakistan is overwhelmed uh, in the culture of poverty. Basically, we are living in a culture of poverty, and we have sort of learned to stay it in that particular way.
Now, this isn't just something that the people living below the poverty line worry about. This has actually become a concern for everyone, as there are less and less people in the agriculture industry and more urbanization with fewer lands for farming.
So number one is poverty. Number second, I would say the increasing or level of inflation, or you can say progressive inflation, right? And underscoring these two reasons, I would say the lack of political will by the government, because they are not putting in a lot of effort to alleviate poverty and to increase the socio-economic level of general public. They are driven by their own vested interest, I would say.
The prices of food items have skyrocketed like never before. With the increase of price levels of food items, this is more difficult to obtain for low income people, which is very concerning in terms of health issues. A lack of food and a proper diet causes malnutrition. Malnutrition causes loss of appetite, unplanned weight loss, and low energy levels to do tasks. This is quite dangerous for poverty affected communities since their livelihood depends on labor intensive work.
बहुत मुश्किल है हम लोगों के लिए, 2 टाइम का खाना खा लें, शुक्र अल्लाह का यही काफ़ी है। तो बहुत ही ये जो आजकल के हालात हैं बहुत सख्त जा रहे हैं। हम लोग तो बस दाल सब्ज़ी ये खा लें इतना ही काफ़ी है, और 2 टाइम मिल जाते शुक्र अल्लाह का, चलो गुजारा हो रहा है हल्का फुल्का। लेकिन महंगाई बहुत ज़्यादा है, होनी नहीं चाहिए वैसे इतना।
You do see that the major chunk of income goes into the hands of the capitalists. So there is this wealth accumulation in one segment of the society, and the other segment of the society that is actually pulling in, contributing in to the income of the rich is actually getting deprived. So hunger is, of course, they don't know how to arrange food for even one day.
Having a stable income is very important, otherwise that would negatively affect the community at large.
One of the groups more severely impacted is children. Nearly 45% of young children under the age of 5 exhibit stunting or are underweight for their age, according to the UN World Food Programme. Children under the age of 5 experience child wasting in 7% of cases. This indicates that they are severely malnourished because their weight is below the average for their age. For its population of over 220 million, the nation faces a complex issue in providing food security despite its agricultural potential. In the 2022 Global Hunger Index, Pakistan ranks 99th out of the 121 countries, while the score 26.1. The country's capacity to successfully tackle hunger is being put under pressure by high levels of poverty, unequal resource distribution, and a growing population.
मेरे बच्चे तो दिन में 2 दफ़े खाते हैं, वही सुबह नाश्ता करके जाते हैं स्कूल में, तो दोपहर को 4 बजे घर आते हैं, 4 बजे खाना खाते हैं, उसके बाद अगले दिन सुबह ही खाते हैं बस। और दिन में तो कुछ भी नहीं बेचारे खा सकते क्योंकि गुंजाइश नहीं होती इतनी।
Not only rural areas, but urban areas too are affected by food insecurity. A cycle of malnutrition is exacerbated by limited access to healthcare and education. Food availability is also unpredictable due to weather variables like droughts and floods that endanger agricultural production.
हम 12 बजे खाना खाते हैं और हम उसके बाद नहीं खाते।
The burden should lie on the government, but of course, since our parliament is full of the feudals and the capitalists, they wouldn't care much about the hunger or the income inequality of the working class. So then, of course, it becomes the responsibility of the individual or the community to raise voice. So what is the need of time is to build in alliances within the community. So it can be the local community, a mohalla, a street. So the individuals can get together in the form of unions, local communities, and build movements and do the advocacy campaigns together by raising voice against these inequalities that ultimately lead to the hunger.
There are multiple non-government organizations working to provide food for the underprivileged, such as ED Foundation, the World Food Programme, Action Against Hunger, Women Being Welfare Organization. These are all providing food to the poor who are unable to support themselves. There is always a solution to an issue, but it will not solve itself. It will need the help and resources that are at our disposal. We must work together to help remove the social stigma related to poverty. We may have our differences, we may have our opinions, but at our core, we are all human.